Hi guys, Trainer Maxim. Thank you very much for joining me. Today we're going to improve your one leg balance. Let's do it. Why we are struggling with the balance on one foot? It's because our ankle muscles are not doing a great job. Typically, the ankle will be collapsing just like this. So you can see how this bone of the ankle is really eager to turn inwards. And with this position, that collapses the hip, that bends the spine, making your trajectory unpredictable. That's why you might need extra balance with the counterweights, with your arms, which we want to avoid. Now, the first thing you do, you just stand normally and you place your mind into these two bones here of your ankles, and you're picturing that you're rotating them out while keeping all 5 toes in good contact with the floor. So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you hold it for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, done. Ideally, you should feel a mild muscle activity here on the outer portion of your shin bone. That would be a good indication that you're hitting the right muscles. The next one is you're going to just stand on one foot by actively focusing on the rotation of the shin bone out, pressing 5 toes into the ground, and just try to stand like this for 30 seconds. Try to stay tall, no need to balance with the arms, just stay relatively relaxed. The next one, you're going to do pretty much the same. Rotate the shin bone out, press 5 toes into the ground. Ideally try to flare them or spread the toes. Stand like this, making sure that the hips are square, and do a partial hip hinge, making sure that your hips are not deviating sideways. Let's say if you're trying to do the partial hip hinge and it looks like this. 1, so your leg is kind of floating sideways. It means that your ankle is collapsing, the shin bone is rotating in, and that leads the entire pelvis into that direction. So you want to correct it by rotating the shin bone out. 1, 5 toes pressed, and tiny bit. 1, do the partial hip hinges. 2, 3, preferably in front of the mirror so that you can control yourself, your body, because often we might picture one thing in our head, but the reality looks quite different. So one more time, you're standing here, rotate the shin bone out, 5 toes pressed into the floor, partial hip hinges. 1 and 2 and 3, making sure that the hips are staying square, not because you're trying to square them with the action of the core or the spine, but because the shin bone is staying rotated out and all 5 toes are pressed into the ground. Therefore, the hips have no reason to deviate sideways. If they do, you of course can correct it with spinal activity or with the core, but it's going to be kind of faking the correct mechanics of the movement. So try this for a couple of sets, 10 reps. And the final part of this routine, we're going to improve how we think about the hip hinging. So we're going to stand tall, rotate the shin bone out, press 5 toes in the ground, make sure the hips are staying square. And now you're going to try the full hip hinge, but without thinking that it's your upper body which is going forward. You must think it's the pelvis which is going back. See the difference? Often we think, okay, we want to go down, we place the mind into the upper body and we start driving it forward like this. That's not how the body is supposed to move, because the pelvis, the base of the spine, is staying in the same place, and essentially at some point you will have to crunch in the stomach. That will create the deviation from the spine. Even though it looks okay, it's not a good balance. The toes are overloaded, the ankle wants to collapse. It's not going to work well for you. So instead, you think, adjust the shin bone, toes, maintain the spine tall, and instead of thinking upper torso forward, just disconnect your mind from the upper torso, put your mind into the pelvis. The hinge is going to happen at the hip here, and drive it back. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. On the way up, you must again not think that it's the upper back which is going up, because you will be arching the back to start the movement. You think it's your hamstrings pulling down on the pelvis. 1. Returning your spine into the upright position from the perspective of the pelvis forward. So one more time, standing tall, relatively relaxed. Do the adjustments to the ankle and think pelvis back. 1, pelvis forward. 2, back and forward, back and forward. Very important during this activity is to stay relatively relaxed, because the balance is not how hard you tense the muscles. The balance is all about how well you coordinate the muscles. And if your muscles are all engaged at the same time, there will be no balance. Balance is only possible when some muscles are relaxed and available and some muscles are working. So in a way, we're going to use the relaxed muscles as thrusters whenever we need them. But if all the muscles are tense, it means that you have no access to any thrusters because they're already all engaged and you're turning your body into uncontrollable object. Let's recap what we've just learned. So exercise number 1 you're going to do is the rotation of the shin bone out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, while holding all 5 toes flared and pressed into the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. Exercise number 2, you're going to try standing on adjusted ankle for 30 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, keeping the spine tall. That's it. Exercise number 3, you're going to stand with the adjusted ankle, picturing the spine tall, making sure that the hips are square. And you're going to do the partial hip hinges just to feel the work of the ankle, to get used to it. And do 2-3 sets, 10 reps. And after that, you can attempt the full hip hinge on one foot. In this way, adjust the ankle, standing tall, hips, and drive with the pelvis back and down, back, forward and up, back, down, forward, up. So try these drills, let me know how it went, and of course, subscribe please. Your support will be greatly appreciated and will keep me motivated to produce more videos to help you guys become better. Thank you, have a great day, see you soon.